everyone and welcome! At this point everyone is having so much fun in League, there is no doubt in my mind that the new runes are a huge success. But as I played more and more, I realized that the reason of its success is very unusual. So let's dive deeper into what you may not even realize is the greatest change League has ever seen. 1 month ago I released a video titled New Runes New Game. In that video I explained why the new system is miles ahead of the old one. One of the main points I mentioned there was the fact that you can pick any primary keystone you want. That's because no matter what role you are, be it a tank, AD carry or support, you can always boost whatever stats you need with your secondary runes. Let me give you an example. The fleet footwork in the precision path is so versatile you can pick it on anyone. Let's say I want to jungle as Lee Sin. I would take this keystone for bonus movement speed if anyone flashes away from my engage with Q. I can take Triumph, which restores my HP and gives me more gold whenever we kill someone during a gank. I can take bonus tenacity or lifesteal for successful ganks and killing monsters. And I can take Coup de Grace for better executes. This is absolutely a viable build, because I can get the stats I need from my secondary path. So in Resolve I can take Font of Life to help my teammates kill their lane opponents, and Conditioning for mid-game tankiness, in case my ganks don't work out. This is absolutely a viable build. Riot made the runes so versatile you can take literally anything on anyone and not be bad. In fact, Riot felt so confident with their runes they made a Rune Randomizer so you can try new builds. By the way, let me pause this video for a second. People say I'm wrong and that this is not true, but I am 100% sure that the voice you can hear on the Rune Randomizer is the new Swain. I am 100% sure. He is the next in line, his story is coming really soon, and his rework as well. Riot would never get a guy into the recording booth just for a sketch on their site. So I'm telling you, this is a teaser for the new Swain.
Exalted, majestic, marvelous, superb.
But anyway, as I was saying, you can play any build on any champion, and this is why. Let's imagine you are still in the old rune system, and let's imagine you want to pick a champion but you don't have any runes or masteries. At this point we know for sure that the champion is going to suck. That's because champions used to be balanced with runes in mind. Riot knew people were going to take attack speed runes on Warwick, and Riot knew people would go full lethality Z. But they tuned the champions down with these runes in mind to get them back in line. This created a problem. If you play that champion with other runes than those in the optimal build, suddenly your stats were inefficient. In other words, because Riot nerfed champion stats down so they could be brought back to normal with runes, any other way of playing that champion wouldn't be as good. In the new system, this is not the case. Champions are now balanced around their base stats, with few exceptions as we'll mention. That's why at the beginning every AD carry got scared that they don't have any armor. And that's why everyone feels so squishy right now. It's because everyone is ignoring all the sustain runes. This gives Riot one tool that makes League as awesome as it is right now. Since all the champions are balanced around their base stats, with few exceptions where runes could be game breaking, like the new attack speed Kog'Maw, Riot can give every keystone the same amount of power but forced into different directions. What this means is that no matter what keystone you pick, your power level is always the same. The only thing you pick is how the power will be shown. If you still don't understand what I'm talking about, let's have a look at this. Let's convert everything into numbers. We have Champion A and Champion B. Both have 300 health and 50 damage per second. This is because Riot is good at balancing. Obviously, in the real world we have things like melee champions, ranged champions and crowd control that tip the balance. But let's ignore them for now. Right now, these two champions are balanced against each other. They are equal. But if one champion takes a keystone that gives him bonus 200 damage proc, like the new Thunderlords for example, that champion's power level rises to 500. He has 300 health of his own and 200 health to take away. But let's say the other champion takes a keystone that gives him 200 bonus health instead. Well, his power level is also 500. He has 300 health of his own and 200 health on top of it to mitigate his opponent's Keystone. Right now, even with different Keystones, they are equal. And this is the very base idea of the new runes. Obviously, this was a very basic example. In reality, Keystones and runes now give you power in vastly different ways. Let me show you a few examples so you know how this actually works. Lethal Tempo, a keystone that gives you burst of attack speed after 1.5 seconds in combat. Let's say the attack speed from this rune can give you up to 300 additional damage on your opponent. So the power of this rune would be 300. But what if the enemy stuns you after you get the burst? Suddenly you can pull off only a couple of bonus hits. This means that in this scenario the rune would only give you around 100 damage. So the average damage it can give you is 200. Meaning the normal power of this keystone is 200. Let's have a look at another one. Predator, a rune that gives you on-demand burst of movement speed and bonus damage on your next attack. This rune deals less damage than the other heavy-hitting keystones for a reason. Converting it into imaginary numbers again, Predator's bonus damage gives you about 160 damage. It is less than the average 200 you can get from Lethal Tempo, but yet they are balanced, because the movement speed you get from Predator assures you always hit those 160 damage. You are not risking going any lower. While Lethal Tempo risks losing a lot of power, Predator is fixed because of its movement speed. If you really want to go deeper into the math, in this case the movement speed itself can be converted into 40 power to give Predator the average power of 200 as well. One last example so I know you understand this. Summon Airy, a keystone that gives you either bonus damage or bonus shield on enemies or allies depending on what you're doing. If you count the damage and shielding effects together, the power on this keystone would be around 350. But because you can't do both at once and you have to choose, separately each effect has around 175 points of power. The only scenario where you can have the total power is in longer fights. But by default this is still lower than the average 200 we've seen before. And that's because even the ability to choose whether you want to heal or deal damage has its value. Yes, Arcane Comet will always deal more damage, but that's all it can do. If you see your ally dying, it won't save him, but Airy will. Airy is sacrificing some of its power for the ability to adapt to the situation. And this is why the new system is awesome. You're not picking what kind of power you want to have anymore. You're picking how you'll get your power, or more understandably, you're picking a playstyle. Yes, obviously I simplified the numbers. Certain runes simply scale off different things. Some are more powerful in late game, some are ridiculously broken in the early game, but that's the playstyle. Yesterday I played against a Heimerdinger who went for a very special playstyle. He maxed his turrets, got all the runes for sieging towers, bought ZZ Portal and Command Banner, and pushed. He was unstoppable while pushing, it was ridiculous. Now thankfully, I was prepared. Have I gone with any other build, I would have been screwed. But I went for my fishing Jax build. We all know top lane is a lone island, so I go fishing. A build where you're unkillable in the early game, but scale ridiculously high with health in the late game. Another name for it would be unkillable split pushing Jax. And guess what? It worked. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the runes and think of something crazy. Right now is the best time to play anything you want because everyone is experimenting. Riot themselves released a couple of videos with crazy builds. How many fastest Narcissus have you seen? 4. That's how many I've seen. And I'm having fun against them. And this is what League is right now. It is fun above all. And I want you to log into the game right now and have fun yourselves. I'm telling you, the first time you win with a crazy build you created, you'll be hooked. But that's all I wanted to say in this shorter video. New runes are awesome and League is full of fun right now. So, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to rate it and have a look around. There might be more on the channel that you might like. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Discord if you'd like to chat. We also have second channel, which I need to release a video for, merch and P.O.Box in the description. And with that, thank you all so much for being here and for your support, you know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you, come again.